I'm Dan Shaw, and I want to introduce you to someone whom I totally love, Dorothy Leon. Dorothy Leon has led a very special life, and I'd love to have her tell you about it. One of the spectacular things that she's done that's inspired me so much is that she developed the wheel with 19 spokes map, the map I also call Earth Star Western North America. So can you tell us, Dorothy, something about how you came to discover this pattern of points around the Grand Tetons?
Yes, I started out by flying in my husband's little light plane, and as we were flying around, I would suddenly see a mountaintop with kind of an energy coming out. I've always seen energy all my life, auras and all different types of energy. And so it didn't surprise me. I saw this energy at the top of the mountains. I eventually called it mountain fountains. And then I would notice that this energy seemed to be going in the direction of another mountain peak in the distance. And this kind of surprised me. So when I would get home from these rides, I would check on his aeronautical maps and start marking the ones that I had seen the lights and the energy coming out of. And then I would figure out by taking my ruler and find out that they were making these triangles. There would be either 3 mountains or 2 mountains and a river, or the different elements seemed to work together in that way, the water. And so I started that way, and then as it expanded, it got more and more into different geometric patterns that I would see. And then eventually I was told in my meditation to check out the Grand Tetons, and that it was the center of a great wheel with 19 spokes. At first I didn't quite know what that meant, but I started marking that on my maps, and I didn't fly over those. I didn't go that far, but it turned out to be there was 19 different either mountains or lakes or rivers in a precise pattern around the central hub of the Grand Teton. And it was just amazing. It was like God and the creators had just marked everything in equal positions all around.
So you had some preparation for this because you've been seeing energies like auras and that kind of thing?
Yes.
And when you saw the energy coming out of the Mount McLaughlin in this area of Southern Oregon, what did that look like exactly? A fountain, like a fountain?
Yeah, kind of a thin line of energy. If you've ever seen or noticed the energy that's over a radiator, it's kind of moves. It's kind of like that, only more distinct into definite patterns. And it would come out just kind of like a line, and then I would see that line, it would go over towards another mountain. It was quite fascinating. And so every place that I saw any of this light, I marked on my maps and found out that they were connected to different geometric patterns.
So you started out, you had a couple triangles, and these are equilateral triangles. They're triangles where each side is the same length. And then you started seeing these more complex patterns, and you're using an air chart, and you start to see a correspondence between the points and magnetic disturbances?
Yes, the magnetic disturbances and the fault lines, they all seem to play a part in that. And not only at the was there a triangle, like say a lake and 2 mountains making a triangle, but at the point beyond the triangle there would be a magnetic disturbance just in a straight line beyond that. So I marked all the magnetic disturbances also. This is all mentioned in the book that you published. You were my first publisher, and this was the first book I ever wrote, and it was called Triangle from Mountains. And I was actually quite taken by what I was discovering because it was all new to me. It was just like a discovery trip.
So you've been meditating for a long time?
Yes, most of my life, really. I've been very attuned to the angels and different beings all my life. And I found that also when you're in an airplane up above the Earth's effluvia, the meditations are twice as good. I started receiving channeling for the first time when I was in the airplanes. And I didn't get as clear of messages when I was down on the Earth level.
But you are getting pretty clear messages from these ascended masters. and angels and other beings, however you call them.
Yes, that started a little over 30 years ago when Master Saint Germain came to me. It kind of startled me at first because he just manifested right in my living room, and he said that he had an 8-year indenture for, well, actually he said first 7-year indenture. It turned into an 8-year because I didn't get everything done in the 7 years, but he said he had 7-year indenture for me to work with if I followed certain guidelines, and he had certain specific things he wanted me to do. And that started another whole ball of wax. It was wonderful, and some of the working with ley lines and energy grids and vortexes were incorporated into Master Saint Germain's work. So they dovetailed real good.
So if we can take you back for a moment to this instant where this ascended being, this highly evolved spiritual being, manifests in your living room, and a lot of people, I think, would go into shock.
Well, I kind of did. I'd heard of this sort of thing, but didn't expect it. And it started out as just these scintillating lights, just dazzling over in the corner of the room, and then they started coalescing until I could see the form of a being. It was just amazing. And he just came right out and he said his message and told me to write it down, which I did, and I followed it all through the years, and I'm still following it. He was with me continually for 8 years, and then now he's just with me occasionally, but I can invoke and call him and talk to him.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of preparation did you do? Why were you chosen to be his messenger?
Well, that always puzzled me too. I think the question I ask him most is, why me? You know, I had an image of spiritual people wearing white and going around like this and being nice and quiet and always smiling and kind of non-worldly. And I was basically in the business world. I loved to ride motorcycles. I had 4 children, all boys, so we did boy-type things, tomboy things, and swimming and camping and fishing and everything. So I couldn't see myself as a spiritual master, leader. So I asked Master Saint Germain, well, why me? And he said, well, you'll get the work done. And that's what it's been. He doesn't give me long, flowery channelings that make people the pink fuzzies or whatever. He just basically tells me, build this, do this, clear this ley line, go and bless this mountain and cleanse the energy there, and do this and do that. And that's been going on for 30 years. And then he tells me to write this book, and he shows me visions, and so he's kept me really busy.
And he's asked that you keep your body pure in some ways.
Oh, yes. He doesn't even want me on the internet or on cell phones. He says that I'm being prepared for, at my later time in life, he's got a specific job he wants me to do, and I've been a vegetarian all my life, and there's several things he doesn't want me to do. I have to keep my body very pure. And I'm not sure what this job that he's going to have me do later in life. It's already kind of late in life. I just turned 72, so I don't know what later in life means. However, my mother is 102, so I guess probably got another 30 years or so left.
Or 130, you're right.